Hello Divine Being, my name is Juha Riverhill and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to speak about spiritual independency. So this is really important topic and I think it's one of the most interesting topics there are. And why is that? Is because spiritual independency is something we need. But from my perspective, I think one of the major things are that you become responsible from your own actions, your own spiritual development. Because usually when we are not so awakened yet to spirituality, we are trying to find many kind of spiritual movements or maybe religious movements to join in and sort of give out our responsibility to somebody else. And when we are giving our own responsibility to somebody else, we are not independent. Unconditional love's perspective, they think that you are not ready to move to the next stage yet. But it's also a really important stage, so don't rush into the feeling that you want independently look the truth, seek for the truth. And if you are in some kind of a spiritual group or spiritual directions under somebody's wings, don't worry about it. It's really important stage of spirituality, and I think the next stage then is to remove yourself from different kind of a spiritual movements and start to take your own action, your own sort of radar outside of that box, and then start to seek for the truth by yourself. And it takes a lot of courage, yes. So that's why I think most of the people don't want to do that. From early on, I started to seek the truth myself and taking that independency to me to decide what is wrong, what is right. And thinking what is wrong and what is right is always really important. But also important when you think about spiritual independency is that you start to make the difference, do the discrimination between energies. Then you are more aware about the life in general around you. If you can make difference between energies, if you can make difference when somebody is speaking to you about somebody, you need to have the ability to do the discrimination. And discrimination doesn't mean that you're putting people in the boxes or sort of that. It means that you have certain own awareness that where the truth is. And when you are aware where the truth is, then you are more able to discover and explore the world, yourself and others. That kind of a journey, when you start your own journey in spirituality, not relying on somebody else anymore or some other group and the group support, it's really valuable in some stage. But then when you are alone, sort of, it is sort of a lonely place. And especially if in spirituality you have gloomy black night of spirituality, it means that you go into the stage or the space where you have water and water doesn't move. You are in a space that you are not aware of what is going on. But as you develop in a spiritual journey, you notice that this kind of a dark nights of soul, they probably will come to you eventually. And when they come, it's really normal and it's not anything to be afraid of. At first I was scared about it a little bit too, but then I noticed that there's nothing to be afraid of. You just have to trust yourself, your own intuition, and go for it. Yeah. But when and as this journey is rather lonely, you have to think about that you have somebody or something to rely on, and that's divine. You can trust the life. And I've been there many times in lonely moments, and I knew that I trust on something. I trust the inner knowing that divine will take care of me no matter what. And it's really important to understand that. You are never alone. There are your spirit guides, and there are angels, and there's probably a million angels all the time waiting to you to ask help or anything. They are there for you, but they are not doing the spiritual development and your own journey for you. They are doing some little helps so that life gets easier and more practical, and in a practical way we get more help. But then, what is the spiritual independency? It's also exploring the world by yourself. It's not anymore that you are reading only books, but you are also reading the signs and listening probably to the radio, and somebody is saying something, you get ahas, and this aha moments takes you further. But what is the great in spiritual independence is that you can gather together own puzzle with all pieces, your own life. I've been using this phrase before, or this metaphor, but it is like a puzzle. Life itself, you yourself, who are you, what are you doing here, all this is like a big puzzle. And then you have little pieces, you get hints and tips from the divine, from your spirit guides. You get a lot of beautiful ahas in your journey. And when you have this little aha, it will change a little bit how you think, how are you defining the world. But then you can also, and you should be when you are spiritually independent, you should be exploring the life and divine. What is the divinity, God, or you can call that God with many names. You can call your God unconditional love like I do, you can call it love and light. There's many names for it. The energy or the vibration that keeps all the whole life itself and whole world itself holding it together. And when vibration is high, it's all the time expanding and expanding. Like space is all the time expanding. So our awareness is a similar kind of a thing. It's a thing that is expanding and expanding. And I will be talking maybe in another video about your consciousness, but this is now only about the spiritual independency. So let's try to keep in a topic. When you're getting more individual journey, you start probably going into courses and widen your awareness. You start to expand your awareness by exploring new things. Probably reading new things and awakening the spirituality. But at the same time, when it is a little bit scary, it's also a wonderful opportunity to. So spiritual individuality means that you are not tangling on anybody. You are not hanging on to anybody. You are not relying on anybody else on your spiritual journey about wisdom and knowledge. You are starting to build up that map or that puzzle and putting all the right pieces in the right places. It's actually, the whole thing is about that. And what are you doing in your spiritual individual journey? It's about stripping away old consciousness, outdated, limited information, knowledge, wisdom that you have gathered around. And that is what it is all about. And understanding that how much you have, a lot of luggage you're carrying around with you that is outdated information and knowledge. And when you realize that, it's like stripping the Christmas tree after the Christmas. You're starting to take all the unnecessary things away from you. And more that you strip yourself from old beliefs, and belief systems, more you start to realize that, okay, now I'm getting hang on what the life is. Now I'm really getting hang on reality. It's more that truth comes more simple. It's not with all that glamorous glittering and jewelry around you, metaphorically speaking. It's more that you strip down your awareness to reality. And there are so many things that you are carrying around in your journey. You've been probably reading a lot of books, or you've been reading Bible, or been reading many things, but you have to take and understand that it's your own journey. It's your own responsibility. It's up to you what you want to believe in. And what you want to do really in your independence, with your independency, is that you start to realize that I'm the one who can decide what is right and wrong, what is truth for me and what is other people's truth. And I always say when a spiritual journey starts that you should take a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months from your life. It's really short time period, but you take and ask for your spiritual guides to give you and show you what kind of an old belief systems you have. And there are, believe me, we all have our limited belief systems, and we have many kind of systems that we've been, let's say, creating into our life. When we've been creating such a stuff into our life, we want to get rid of it, don't we? So maybe you should write down the things that you have noticed that you are acting from fear, not from love. If you are doing that, obviously the action from fear is some outdated old programming or some old belief system. Look after that, am I repeating something? Am I always acting like this? Are my relatives, my spouse, my siblings, my children trying to say me that you are always doing that? You are always acting like that. You always get angry at that. And those are the things that are really limiting you. And what are they limiting? They are limiting your independency, but they are also limiting your freedom. And I think that when we come down to earth, we come down to this question that what it is about the whole thing. It's about the soul's, let's say, ultimate, what it is seeking. It's seeking for freedom. But then spiritual independency means really that we have a free choice. And I hope that you understand that we are free because we free ourselves, and we are independent because we free ourselves from limited belief systems, fear and wounds. Heal them so that you can be more independent, more free, and your awareness can expand. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a short one about spiritual independency. Take a backpack in your bag and go hiking in the world.